Hi, welcome to the first week of the secondary math methods class. As you become teachers, I want you to know that I will be there to help you, and I hope that you enjoy the semester. If you happen to look at the syllabus already, you'll find that this week, September 1st, we covered Chapter 1, The Challenge of Teaching. And you can always find the textbook online. It's right there on Blackboard, and it looks like this. So I really don't want you to go and read the whole chapter, but you can. It's not that long compared to others, but it's just an introduction. You might have had some experiences in the classroom, I'm not sure. So this week, when you send me the answer to your first question, and I'll remind you, it's right here. Let's go back to the syllabus for a second. We go to the syllabus. It says to take a look at the exercise at the end of the section. To guide you to the important areas, select one exercise, submit your response to me by next Monday. That would be Monday, September 8th. So by September 8th, send me something about the first chapter. But what I want you to add is tell me a little bit about yourself, why you want to become a teacher, how you got interested in being a math teacher as well. So going back to the chapter, so the chapter really talks about what you're going to experience as a teacher. First thing that I'm going to ask is that you probably liked math as a kid, as a young adult, and obviously you liked it in college to go into teaching. But if you like math, then what about your students? What do you think the students that you will be having? Do you think they like math as much as you? You may have enjoyed math because of the order, because you saw the patterns and you were able to solve the equations. There's also one of my own theories, unproven, but theories is that many people who like math are not just generally crazy about geometry, or vice versa. Those who like geometry are not crazy about algebra or solving equations or unknowns. But maybe that whatever the case is, you may have to teach both of those types of math. In fact, you may start thinking about what types of math you really prefer: algebra, geometry, trig, advanced math, calculus, and so on. So be ready to teach those classes, but for this course, you'll just have to focus on one area. Why? I'm going to go back to the syllabus now. At the syllabus, one of the first things you're going to be doing is doing a unit plan outline, which is due next month. And that's going to be part of your unit, which is due at the end of the semester. So start thinking about what area you'd like to teach. It may be determined by where you are in terms of your site, if you're on a site. And I'd like to know that as well. So next week, please tell me where you're going to be situated in terms of practicing these math ideas. So, first thing that you'll see is that making math accessible according to the National Council of Teachers of Mathematics. That's the NCTM. NCTM is an organization. Let's go find them, if I can get the right click here. Over here, NCTM is the National Council of Teachers of Math. They do a lot of, they have a lot of resources for elementary, middle, high school, higher ed, so a lot of stuff. And they have a lot of position statements. In fact, this supporting CCSSM is the Common Core for the states in science and in schools and in mathematics. I'll be talking about that in a few seconds. So there's a lot of information here that you can look at and get to know about NCTM. You can join as a student if you want to. They have student rates. There's a lot of lessons and resources in NCTM for whatever you want to be talking about. But you don't have to stick with NCTM. You can also go online and find lots of resources that are free. So take a look at that as well. Let's go back to the course here, the textbook. And they talk about equity. And equity is not only in terms of gender, but also in terms of socioeconomic status, as well as students from different cultures. Lewiston-Auburn College is where I'm situated. In Lewiston, we have a lot of migrants from Africa who have come into our schools in the past 10, 15 years, and it's a challenge for everybody, but it's also a challenge for specifically for math teachers in terms of teaching mathematics to students who are learning English as they are in your class. So that can be part of the challenge for you, is how do you write units that will be equitable for all your students, not just those who like math, but those who are math shy, math challenged, or have math anxiety. So you have to know that not everyone is going to be crazy about math like you are. Be aware of that. And you also have to realize that the way you learn math is probably not the best way to teach math. You probably liked, and I'm just making an assumption here, that the teacher gave you a little review, gave you 20 questions, problems to do overnight. You did them. You came back the next day, you went over them, and then you did a little bit of review for the next section, and then you get 20 questions as well for the next night, and you kept doing that. Well, that's a pace that could be probably good for math people who are really excited about it, but for those who are not, or are challenged, or just don't have a good background in math, it may be quite different, and not everyone sees math in the same way, so you have to be aware of that. So take a look at that section as well. Big thing that I will be pushing for this semester is teaching for understanding, constructing knowledge. And constructivism is a theory of learning where you build your learning on previous knowledge. It's not just memorization. In fact, I'm not a big fan of memorization. If you were in my class and taking tests, I wouldn't even have you memorize, or I wouldn't even give closed book tests. I don't believe in memorization. That's my philosophy. You teach for understanding, and you teach in problem-solving ways. So take a look at that. Take at that section as well. And finally, in this section, role of hands-on materials. If you were in many elementary classes that had materials, you probably played with base 10 blocks or other manipulatives. You don't see them as much in the secondary, but I'll tell you that probably from the time that you've been in high school, things have changed. Just the iPads and other tablets that have come into play have become part of everyday math, and that's a source and a resource that you should really take advantage of. Learn what's available at your school and use it as much as possible, because the students can really gain advantage. In fact, they may help you and teach you how to use the tablets for your own classroom. And that doesn't take long before you feel like an old person when you're out of it. So you've been out of high school for at least 4 or 5 years, so things have changed. The iPad's only about 4 or 5 years old, and that has become part of school from K to 12. So, things that you should get to know when you're writing your unit. Here's that unit thing. I'm going to point to it again. The unit plan outline is what are you going to teach, and what are the standards you're going to base it on. Like I said, there's NCTM standards. They have their own standards here. But there's also the math standards from the Common Core. I've taken this site and I put it on Blackboard. If you go into course documents, you'll see right there Common Core State Standards for Math. It's available. You can take a look at it. It looks just like this. So you can click on and see, okay, I think I want to write a unit on high school algebra. So you click on high school algebra, and here are the types of things that you can see. There's in the introduction to the whole process, and you can do expressions and equations, inequalities. There's an overview. You can be more specific, and you can also look at the standards by domain. So take and become knowledgeable, because the Common Core is the current document that teachers use to drive their units and lesson plans. If you have a mentor teacher that you're working with, he or she may be able to help you in this respect. So that's what I'm looking for, is what are the standards that you're going to be using. Okay, the other things that we'll be doing, the other thing that we'll be looking at here, besides the standards, is going down here. Professional development, that's something that you could take a look at. It's not important right now, but it is important, but it's not something that you have to think about right now. It's types of professional development. What are you going to be doing after you become a teacher? How are you going to continue to be the best teacher possible? And other resources. So there's a lot of other information here. What I outlined previously is what you should focus on. And then there's the debate among mathematics. You can talk to all the math teachers in the department at school, and you will see that there are probably as many different types of opinions about how math should be taught. I'll give you a little video at the end of this from something called the whole brain teaching, and so you can take a look at what that is, how it uses that. Here are the exercises. So your job by the end of next week is to do this exercise. Take one that you may have. For instance, from a secondary school perspective, describe the basic differences between process standards and content standards. Okay, process standards means how do you get there? Content is the final outcome. Process, do you want to teach your students to become good math thinkers? or you want to get the right answers. And there's nothing wrong with either one of these or better than the others. But I prefer process. I want them to become thinkers in math. How do you solve these problems? How do you think in a math way? Or if you're interested in equity issues, talk about that. I'm not looking for an essay of 2-3 pages. I'm just looking for about a page maximum on your ideas of this. So take a look at these 10 exercises and do that for next week. Here's the whole brain teaching, and I will be talking to you next week. Thank you.
A cosine bx and A sine x. The A in the front, ready? The A in the front stretches vertically or shrinks. It's either a stretch or a shrink. It doesn't stretch if A is bigger than 1, it's a shrink if it's less than 1. The B in front of the x, is a stretch. B is backwards here. If B is less than 1, it is a shrink if B is greater than 1. Stretch, straighter, shrink if it is less. Yes. Awesome, good gestures. Yes. Yes. Only silent cosine. So you can teach it to your partner. Okay. Rule one. Follow directions quickly. I want you to read with me. All right. Describe the transformation. It would have to be made 2y equals cosine x in order to graph y equals 3 cosine x minus 3. Give me whoop. Whoop. Dear teacher, happy. We'll do.